You got Giva okay? I see the thing moving, so.
The thing is moving. The thumbs up already rolled.
Now, yeah, what about that? We're here, we're live at, don't forget, free admission, and you're live with Full Contact Fun Addicts, brought to you by On The Mat. Don't forget, you can always go to onthemat.com to get all the latest information, videos, everything like that. You want to check that out because you're putting a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff up there, a lot of Rafael Lovato Jr. and people like that, so you want to make sure and check that out. Also, you can check out myluckygi.com. Make sure you check that out because we got the new Lucky Gis. I think they were also blowing out a whole bunch of the old gis because they got so many new gis coming in. So speaking of jiu-jitsu, special guest in the house today, Giva Santana. Giva, how are you, my friend?
How are you?
Hey, man, let me tell you something. It's good to get you in here. We've been trying to get you in here for a while, but don't forget, we got Miguel over here. We're going to talk a little UFC and some jiu-jitsu with him. And, of course, got Jessica over there in the producer spot taking all your questions. You want to send a note or whatever. If you got some questions for Giva, we're going to get into it. Feel free to write in, and we'll make sure we answer. Of course, we got Dando. He's going to be on mic every now and again. And, of course, none of this would be possible without Robert. He's bringing us in and out. So, huge weekend this weekend. I'm going to go on record as saying, you know, we talk a lot. When we had Adam Lynn in here, we talked a lot about how there's so many things going on in California or Vegas. You know, Vegas, of course, fight capital of the world. Because not only did they have the Mr. Olympia, where they had the Sambo Championships. When we had Marvin in here, talked a lot about that. They had the UFC that was in Pittsburgh. And then there was 2 King of the Cages. There was one in Tawa, Colorado. There was one in Reno. They had the amateur and everything. So it's just MMA is just moving so much that they got so much going on. It's incredible, you know. So we're gonna talk a little news, talk a little UFC, talk about that. Then we're gonna get into one jiu-jitsu with Giva. We were talking a little bit before we went on the air, and I was trying to cut him off because I wanted to make sure that we got it on the air because there's so much, especially when you got somebody like Giva here who's been in the game for so long, and you know, jiu-jitsu and fighting and MMA. And we talked a lot about, you know, do you still do jiu-jitsu for MMA? And it's like, you know, and plus the big controversy, which we have here a lot on this show, is the new Eddie Bravo type of jiu-jitsu, you know, all no gi. Yeah. And because before, you know, there was a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? You were considered, would you say a wussy for butt scooting and trying to get the leg. You know, it was all about getting the takedown. So we have a lot of people who say, you know, it's good for the sport because it's bringing the guys a lot of money and it's bringing, you know, new tournaments and stuff like that. Then you have a lot of people say, you know what, that's you know, old school jiu-jitsu is with the gi, and you go for the takedown and you try to pass the guard and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to bring all that to the forefront when we talk some jiu-jitsu with Giva Santana. But real quick, before we get into the UFC, if you want to check out Giva Santana, it's at One Fitness. It's One Fitness Jiu-Jitsu or just One Fitness?
One BJJ Fitness.
One BJJ Fitness?
Yeah.
And it's at 17895 Sky Park Circle in Irvine, California. If you want to call them up, it's Unit A. And if you want to call them up, it's 714-222-9854. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into some jiu-jitsu, talk about jiu-jitsu for MMA and all that. But, of course, the big controversy is the boxing over the weekend. Now, we're inundated with emails and stuff like that when we have these bad decisions, you know, in the UFC or Bellator or stuff like that, because, you know, the judges that they have, I think, to me, the only judge that I know that's got some sort of experience is Ricardo Almeida out there on the East Coast. He's actually a judge, you know, but it's kind of like a state job, and they do it, you know, it's like a job, you know. So that's why you have like an Adelaide Bird and people like that. I don't know her. I don't know if she's ever been in a cage or boxing ring or whatever. But I saw the fight. It was I gotta say, as much as I love Canelo, it looks like Triple G took him to school.
All bias aside, I thought Triple G beat him very
exactly.
fair.
And then for one judge to score it 118 to 110 for Canelo, just goes to show,
know
we're
what she
right
was
back.
watching.
We're right back where we started from.
She's probably watching the UFC.
I don't know. I don't know what they're looking for. Now, real quick, we'll take it around the table. We'll start with Giva. Not only in mixed martial arts, I mean, not only in boxing, but in mixed martial arts, you have a lot of that. And do you think there's some way we could change that? Shouldn't they have to pass? I mean, if you're not an actual fighter who's been in the cage and knows, because a lot of it is when somebody gets taken down, even though they get taken down and don't do anything with it, it seems like they get the points just for the takedown.
Yeah, I heard the same complaint from last week.
Right.
The girls that Amanda Nunes and
Exactly.
So they say like, oh, she took me down, but she didn't do anything. You gotta see what the refs are looking for. And one thing that concerns me, like after the fight, right? Like, there's a controversy. Like people like complaining about the refs and everything. So if I'm on the referee directors or something like that, okay, let's sit down, let's see what happens, and let's try to find a solution. But I don't know if they're doing that because it keeps happening over and over and over. So I don't know if they're looking for a solution for a better way, dynamic way to judge the fight.
But I don't think like Dana or them have any control over that, right? Because I mean, he's been trying to get
commission.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
exactly.
Like,
so
it's a government body, right?
Well,
like
exactly how we used to complain about Steve Mazzagatti all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Referee is a different thing because they're there to protect the fighter, and they're gonna, no matter what, they're gonna say, no, you should have let it go along a lot longer because this guy could have kept going. Well, you shouldn't have stopped it, or they're always back and forth. But when I was talking to Thomas Denny, I had him on my show. He said, the referees know me. There's a lot that I know, so they know how much punishment I can take or whatever. So there's a lot of things that go with it. I don't know what it's going to take. I think it puts a really bad black eye on the sport of boxing, which it has done multiple times with the MMA. So, I mean, we need to do something. I don't know exactly what we could do because I think the commission is. You remember when back in Long Beach Fight Night days, and they have the big meeting. They have the weigh-ins, then they have the big meeting. We're the state commission. We're not rent-a-cops. We're state licensed officials, and if you put your hands on us, you can go to jail. And it's a whole thing where they talk about what they are. Now, that being said, you should have some sort of training to be able to call a fight.
Because even just chopping it up with some of those guys that were the commission, I asked them, hey, so what do you do outside of this? Oh, I'm a connoisseur of fine wine.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's all cool and stuff, but he has no idea.
Now, I know John McCarthy has a class that you have to take. I don't know if it's to be a judge as well as a referee, but something like that. They got to go with somebody who knows what they're talking about. Get these people trained.
I mean, I think some of them, like John McCarthy and some of those guys, they're professional in this.
Right.
Yeah. And some of the guys is like a part-time. For part-time, you're not gonna take serious.
Frank Trigg is Nevada, and I think he's come out to California. Which is proven fighter or whatever. I think it makes a lot of difference, a huge difference. So remains to be seen. I don't know if they're going to have a rematch or whatever. I think it's kind of lost its luster. I don't think it'll have as much hype as it did before for Canelo and Triple G. But we'll see what happens. I mean, that's the sport of boxing, so we'll see what happens. But also, I mean, you're torn because I'm watching the UFC on the big TV and I'm watching Canelo and them on the iPad or whatever. So, but I think we're going to start from the top this time and go down to the bottom. I personally think Luke Rockhold has been flying under the radar for quite some time. He was, Strikeforce champion. He did get knocked out by Michael Bisping, but that happens. People get knocked out, or whatever. And I don't know why
they played too much on that. He played around too much and then got caught.
Exactly. So, David Branch, good stand-up fighter. They start trading some blows. David Branch hit him with, it looked like a combination of about 3 or 4 punches.
He rocked him, I agree,
Yeah, like a big combination. So once that happened, which to me, it seems like it's the key, shot it.
I think when that happened, he's like, hey, wait a minute, I'm not going to let that happen again.
Exactly. Exactly. So. And then once he took him to the ground, he pretty much owned him on the ground. Got him, he tried to get up a few times, but once he got the hooks in and flattened him out, he was done. So it just goes to show, you could be the best stand-up fighter in the world, but you have to be well-rounded. You don't have no game, even if you're a wrestler. If you could take somebody down but still not doing anything with it, you still have to know how to submit somebody or whatever. So that was a good example of, I took a few punches. Okay, let me get him to the ground and was able.
Let me go where I can beat this guy.
Exactly.
That's what I see in the fights. Like sometimes, like the fighter comes to you like a I train fighters too, and then sometimes they come with something that I'm a striker. Okay, if you only go through striking, it's only gonna take you to this point. But if you wanna go to the next level, if you wanna be a title holder on some organization, you need to be well-rounded. You know, I can't push you too far as. But you gotta work your ground, your wrestling, and everything in order to be able to. Because you go to a fight, and then you think like, I can only punch this guy. My only chance to win this fight is by punch this guy. This is a little chance you have to beat the guy.
Right.
If the guy has wrestling, has jiu-jitsu, he's 2-1 against your striking, right? So you need to know a lot about it.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
1 against the striking.
Yeah, because think about it. Like if I'm only striker, and I'm going against a guy that can wrestle and can fight on the ground, jiu-jitsu, right? The only thing he should be worrying about is about my punches. If you close distance and get me down, I'm in trouble.
Exactly,
right?
exactly,
So,
and that's been proven time and time again.
and then he can like with only one dimension, you can only go that far, right? Like you need to improve. Like people know me, I was a ground fighter.
Oh yeah.
But I always try to improve my striking, my wrestling to fill up the gaps that I knew I had on my game.
Right, because it's to your advantage if you have good stand up. Because you got to close that distance if you want to get him to the ground. You know what I mean? So it was a good proof right there with Luke Rockhold to, you know, if that's what happened, bam, I got ground game. And a good example is Henry Cejudo, Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. But after he won his last fight, he said, you know, I'm still you know, learning. I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm a good wrestler, but I still have to learn to submit people and finish them on the ground. So I'm still working at it. So it a good proof right there. I mean, dude's an Olympic caliber wrestler. You've got to get everything in order. You kind of see that a lot. You see that a lot. Like Sarah McMahon too. She was just a wrestler, but then she started submitting people and really stepping up her game. And she got submitted on her last fight, but you could tell she's working to get to that next level. Now, before we go on to the next fight, let's take another example. Ronda. You know, I don't want to say strictly judo, you know, but that's what was getting her to where she, you know, was really taking care of people. She'd get the hooks in and just toss people. She'd dig those hips in. People were just flying. But she knew how to finish them. She had the arm bar, and she would finish people. But then it seemed like towards the end, she wanted to stand up. Like you said, you know, well, I think I can punch people now. I think I'm going to go after them. But I don't know because I couldn't hear like Henner saying, you know, close the distance and get him to the ground. Get her to the ground. All I could hear was Taverdian saying, head movement, head movement. Wow. You know what I mean? So that's why I think Ronda shouldn't retire. I mean, dude, if she would go to Luke Rockhold and say, look, I saw that fight. As soon as you felt some power, you closed that distance and took him down. That's all she has to do.
Change the game plan, see where you at.
Exactly.
You know,
the only thing, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, the only thing I can hear was her corner, you know, hang in there. She's running out of gas.
Head movement. And I'm like, no, close the distance. Get in there, man. Because she gets in there, you know, and holds, even if she holds her for a while.
Once she puts the hand, she has all the ways to find a throw.
Exactly.
You know?
So, hey, Ronda, if you're listening, Giva Santana right here. Work some jiu-jitsu. Right, you know, we'll get going. So you need to come back. I think the sport needs her to do at least one more fight. Just to you know, submit the legacy or whatever. So that remains to be seen. I hope she does. But anyway, so we had that. Then we had Uriah Hall against Krzysztof Jeffko or whatever. Dude, he was getting pummeled. And then he hung in there. A few times I thought they were going to stop the fight. He grabbed him, kept him towards the end of the round so that he can catch his breath, get himself together. Came back in the second round and ended up knocking him out. Yeah, good experience. But the dude's got such long range, and it seems like when he throws those kicks, some things are coming in hard, man. Or whatever.
Well, the first round, the guy closed the distance a lot, right? The guy didn't give him that space that he can dodge and throw his kicks.
Exactly. So it seems like it took him. Well, first of all, he was on the defensive because he was getting rocked. So he ended up doing the smart thing, grabbing him and getting everything together, and then coming back in the second round and winning.
Make adjustments and.
So. Is Uriah Hall 185 or 205?
I think he was 185.
185.
Okay, so real quick before we go to see who's next for him, who do you think's next for Luke Rockhold?
Whoever comes out on top between that Bisping GSP, I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
He tried to sell it, but he didn't sell it that well.
Nah, I mean, you know, I don't.
Too shy.
Yeah, I don't know if people would really. I don't know, maybe one more victory for him or whatever, and then put it together.
I think a better challenger for him would be better fight. Like,
yeah.
You know.
Who's in
so.
Who's in the 185 that can give him a fight?
Jacare.
What about
Yo.
¿cómo
But
se-
he already beat him though.
Robert? ¿Cómo se llama este hombre de Cuba?
Yo-
Joel Romero.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe him against Joel Romero or something like that. So I think that would be a good matchup because Romero's coming off a loss, but he's still up there because it was pretty controversial. So does the Australian dude still have the belt?
The Australian guy.
Yeah.
Australian
So-
guy too.
Oh, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, so they're still trying to, to get that whole
I forgot all about that.
yeah, that whole thing together or whatever. So
Robert Whittaker. Yeah.
yeah. So I think Luke Rockhold against Robert Whittaker would be great. I think
be a
that would
good
be a good
fight.
fight. I mean, it'd
It
be a
would
good
be a
test,
good-
a good
yeah.
test for both of them
Yeah.
on that level. So we'll
I mean, I think the other guy was tested already
Yeah.
against Yoel Romero.
especially against
Yeah.
Romero,
Yeah.
but it was close.
Yeah.
You
That
know?
would be
Yeah.
a good fight, I think. Rockhold and Romero.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that'd
be good.
And then the
Yeah.
winner gets what's his name? If he gets a rematch, or Luke Rockhold
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
the fight. I think that. So Sean Shelby, if you're listening, dude, all you gotta do is watch his show. We'll make the matches for you. We'll sell them out, dude. Just watch it. We'll send you tape if you don't have it. So Uriah Hall ends up beating Jaco, but he's kind of in the middle. Sometimes he looks like a world beater. Sometimes he's
off,
He's
yeah.
a little, So a couple more fights, we'll see where he's at, and then we'll go from there. So.
Hey, you should get Dondo to tell his story about Uriah Hall.
What you met Uriah Hall? Put him on mic. Let's see
Where's
what
his mic?
he's got
Where's his
going
mic?
on.
Where's his mic? Sorry, I had to put you on blast like that. I'm sorry, but
Does it have to do with high kicks to the head?
No. Interestingly enough, I have a 6'2" son that speaks in the same manner I do. So he's very much an antagonist. So,
Very brash.
He was playing pool at was that Costa Mesa Bar, and in comes Uriah Hall. Well, he'd been watching UFC.
What the heck is Uriah Hall doing out here? Oh, he's training in San Diego.
Probably
He used
training
to
in
live
San Diego,
down
doing
here.
his
Oh,
thing.
okay.
So my son had watched the show, and there was a part of the Ultimate Fighter where Uriah Hall had been bullied when he was a kid, and there was a breakdown on the show where he wasn't. They had to put the pieces back together. So my son, being an antagonist, says,
Oh, jeez.
come on, let's see what you got on the pool table. Let's get some confidence. So, he starts talking to the guy.
Yeah.
oh jeez.
Sends me the picture. I'm like, don't talk to him like that. Come on. You know what I mean? And it sends
Yeah.
me the picture. He's like, come on, step up, come on. Begging, egging him on. I'm like, no, don't do that stuff. It's cool, man. Just be cool. He's a good fighter. He does his
Yeah.
thing. Come on.
Yeah.
But he had a few in him, so he's very bold. Like
Yeah.
a 5'5" version of me.
Now, does that happen to you, did that happen to you back in the day when you were, submitting people left and right? Did you ever have knuckleheads that came up to you and said, "Hey, man, I think I could take you"? Or
Oh, many of them.
Is
Plenty
that
of them.
true?
Yeah, one time I never was a big fan to watch fights in the bars, but some friends sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
was like, come on, man, come hang out with us and watching. And I was watching, there was this Russian guy, and then he looked at me, started staring at me. He's like, "So you're a fighter?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess I am." And he's like, "I can take you." I was like, "You're a fighter?" He's like, "No, but I'm Russian and I was in prison in Russian. And you know what being in prison in Russian?" I was like, "I have no idea, man, but I guess it must be pretty rough of it." I was like, "Yeah, and I can take you." And then people around started looking like, "I don't know what's wrong with this guy." And I just laugh and walk away. It's like, I'm not going to fight with that guy,
Yeah.
I got to sign a contract first.
yeah, you got to do it for money, man.
Yeah,
Fight
but
for
there's
free
a lot
unless
of
you got to defend yourself.
there's a lot of people, and there's people that send you message private, like people like, "Yeah, I saw you say this and this in an interview. I would like to see you fight my friend. My friend will knock your head off." Like, whoa, so what about you?
Yeah.
Why don't you come knock my head off? Instead,
Yeah.
send your friend.
And
There's a lot of this going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a lot of that stuff that goes on. What's wrong with these people, man? Go ahead, Jessica Nicolette, got a question over there?
So I have two comments. One of them you guys are gonna have to help me with, but a fan wrote in, Giva Santana, dude is a mother beast.
Okay.
And Monster Varela, who we had on last week, wrote in OSS. I'm not quite sure.
Os.
Okay.
Hey, he did damage out there at that Mr. Olympia.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to him.
Yeah, I don't watch much Sambo. I mean, I've seen them, but watching it's totally different. I mean, because you got, the judo and everything, and then when you got him on the ground, they still had the gi on, so they still had stuff to grab, and I mean, it's a total, and you could tell, first of all, I would say within the first 30 seconds, I would be gassed. I mean, it's just it's so much,
Powerful.
So he went up against a big dude, the champion or whatever, and once he got him, he knee barred him in the first match.
Yeah.
But then in the second, the guy was so big, he was getting him over and just staying on him. And since there's a gi, he had something to grab, and he could just hold. You know, you saw some of that.
Yeah,
so,
I saw some.
Hey,
Yeah.
but he still did damage out there. So we'll get Giovanni on here later on. Maybe we'll get them both back on. We'll talk a little bit because so many people want to know, about that because it's such a mixture that they do out there, judo, sambo, and stuff like that. So we'll definitely have you guys back on. Glad to see that you're still checking us out. So the other couple of fights, they were okay, but the one that was great, that was really good, was Gregor Gillespie against Jason Gonzalez. Gregor Gillespie, wrestler out on the East Coast. Jason Gonzalez was a big dude. They came out, they started swinging. Those guys were, and we were talking.
That's how it starts, right?
Yeah, we were talking about this before we went on the air. Gonzalez was a big dude, so he started connecting. Boom, but to the T, Gillespie, he threw a couple of shots, shot in, got the double leg. Once he got him down, he had him. Now
back for your roots,
right? He went for the head and arm choke. And when we're talking about that, Gonzalez grabbed that, he grabbed under his leg, locked his hands, and tried to take the pressure off that way. Mm-hmm. But once he couldn't do it and it popped and his hands broke, that was it. He tapped.
Eventually, it will pop.
Yeah.
Like I said, that defense, that kind of defense, grabbing under the leg and then stretch the arm open just to be able to breathe a little bit. I teach that for some people, but most like last resort. Like you heard the bell, like 10 seconds to go. The corner yelled at you like, hey, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. So you play with the clock and then try hanging there for the 30 seconds and try hold a position. But if it's like beginning of the round, mid of the round, you got to find a better way to escape. You got rocking, turn, roll, give your back. But you cannot just rely on that grip because the pressure will increase a little by little and you're going to be tapped out.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, hey, maybe we could show that technique if we go down to Giva's place.
Yeah, come
because
by.
so many people get caught in that head and arm.
Yeah, I work with a little bit with Tom Watson, Kong, and then he was able to use against Thales Leichel. Thales Leichel is known by the
absolutely.
And I'm talking, and he was able to survive, and he always have like, hey, the stuff that we're working on at the gym, it worked over there. I was able to escape.
Nice.
It was fun.
It's funny.
It was cool, but
yeah. Well, I'm gonna teach you stuff you can use, especially in MMA, or whatever. But so many people are getting submitted by that head and arm choke. It would behoove you to, learn that to get it out because a lot of people, even Sarah McMahon,
and I go back to that the Brazilian gal.
That submitted.
Yeah.
Same thing. But we were talking about that too. But she was more up against the cage. Yeah. So it seemed like Sarah would have, she kind of saw it coming. She should have done something to get out before because once she locked it in, she had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
She was up against the cage, and not only was she digging her shoulder into her,
but the angle, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it happens. It happens. So she got caught. She's going to have to move on for that. Yeah. But that fight got fight of the night. So $50,000 bonus. Hey man, that's what I'm talking about. That was a good fight. That was a good. Another good example of, if you got to close a distance or whatever, get them down and finish them out. So we look for a lot from them in the future. Now, Anthony Smith against Hector Lombard. Hector Lombard, same thing, known for his wrestling and stuff. But he came out swinging, came out throwing punches. He was like literally, he looked like Mayorga. He was just throwing, punches and going after him. So once this kid, Anthony Smith, got himself together, about the second round, he started getting the distance and he started catching him, bam, bam. And then at the end of the round, he started saying, you know who I am now? You know who I am now? Because I guess Hector was, giving him a hard time or whatever. Ended up catching him and ended up TKOing him in the third round. So, Chris Smith, Anthony Smith, I'm sorry, good fighter. He's had some wins, he's had some losses. That's a big victory over Hector Lombard.
Yep.
Now, do you think that brings Hector Lombard a little bit down, or because some losses, like take the Diaz brothers for instance, they get a loss, it's not really nothing. They're still going to be in that same thing. But Hector, that's gonna bring him down a little bit.
It will. I think so. It depends like how you lose. Sometimes you get caught by a punch and then there's no judgment in there because like, oh, I just got caught. But sometimes like the person start picking you apart and then shows like that he's skilled enough to hang with you there if you're in the up level and they're just coming up.
Right.
And that might change a little bit, might put you down a little bit, but it all depends how you lose. If the performance, like if I start a fight like dominating the fight and the guys start like counter punch me and then like even up the game and start like catching up with me and start like throwing punch and counter more, and then I start like fading away, and then the guy start the people like, hey, look at that guy, he's handling that guy. So that would bring you down.
Is kind of pretty much what happened. I mean, he kind of started breaking him down, and then he ended up.
And I think Hector's already been on the way down.
Man, you know, it's weird because that happens, and then they have one fight, and they like Henry. Henry had a couple of losses, and then boom, he knocks out what's his name?
Wilson.
The wrestler guy, I can't remember his name, and then he had another win. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It remains to be seen, especially with him, because that guy, you look at him, same thing. Some days he's on fire.
I don't think they're gonna get out of the level that a bunch of guys are there. Right. They will be there a little, you know.
That's 185 too, right?
170.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Is he 170?
170. I think he went down,
Hector's 170.
Dude, that guy gets to 170?
Yeah.
Hector,
yeah.
No, it's easy for him now. Before it was hard, but now it's easy.
I don't think he's as jacked as he used to be.
No, yeah. Before he was like,
size, garrote and everything.
We almost fought at one point.
Well, hey,
we almost fought at one point. I think it was the Bellator thing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
oh, no way.
Almost, before, but didn't happen.
Yeah. That
at that time he was a beast, man. Like everything he threw hurts.
I'm saying like his brother Yoel.
No, he's smaller. He was.
I was
a nice guy, man. I like him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he was 185, but to cut to 170, he still looked the same to me. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I got to get the what do you call it on the TV.
So nice guy.
We'll see what happens. I mean, if I'm a matchmaker, that guy's still a good matchup for certain people. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's what still they do. They go back to the drawing board and get him. Now, but before we get out of this, Mike Perry, we talked about that when we were breaking down the show before. I don't know, his opponent dropped out, which was what's his name from the ATT, from American Top Team, Thiago Alves.
Yes.
He ended up now. That's a fight I would have wanted to see. That would have been a good matchup, but people get hurt.
I hope they make that matchup again.
Yeah. So
I think they will.
Alex Reyes steps up on what, couple weeks notice or something like that.
3
days. 3 days notice, or
3
whatever. Catches a knee, boom, bacatelas, and he was done.
So much you can do because even what's his name?
Mike Perry.
No,
Alex Reyes.
He's a division below.
Yeah. Yeah, he went up from 155 to 170 to fight him. But we talk a lot about that on this show too. Yeah. People get called just like that with 3 days notice. You got to be ready.
Yeah, but that's why I tell the fighters the whole time, like, you got to be ready though, because you never know when an opportunity is going to knock on your door.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you got to make sacrifices like that. I'm pretty sure he got a nice contract in there.
Oh, sure.
3 fights. He knew we were going to take a beat on this one.
Yeah, because if Dana knows that you're training and you're ready and he can call on you, he's going to give you a couple fights.
I mean, I was always ready. I never had the opportunity. I never got a call, but I was always ready.
But you were always in the gym because you're teaching classes and you're always doing your stuff. So you're always, the tools are always sharp. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. I mean, these fighters, okay. So let's take somebody. We'll say Mike Perry, only because he had such a quick knockout, or whatever. Didn't suffer no damage, no nothing. So do you take a week off and get back in the gym, or what's the most you take off?
That's what me. Not even a week off, a couple of days off if I was injured.
Especially if there's no injury.
If I was no injured, like next day I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, training, doing something, moving around.
Especially in this day and age.
This is just a job, a lot of people make camps, take time off, and then they come back and they want to get a fight, and like first month is just to get them back in shape, doing what they were doing before. And then
these guys that weigh 170 are off to 245 during the off season.
It was funny because every time I was at the gym, I called the coach and called the manager like, hey, do you have any 185? I do. Yeah, well, it's for like next week. Okay, we have. Who's them? Giva.
Never mind.
Okay, I'll call you back.
Never mind.
Okay, I'll call you back.
Because I was ready. I was always waiting. I was always like ready to fight.
That's
smart. I was a professional. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. You're a professional. That's like your job. You should be ready.
Perfect example is like Anthony Johnson, how they just balloon to,
Yeah, those dudes get up there, man. Get off
a lot of people, not disrespect, like there's a lot of professional fighters in there, but there's a lot of people that just for the paycheck. Not to be somebody, not to be on the top level. I just wanted my check and get out of here. That's what I heard. A lot of times.
I don't get it. I mean, I just don't. If you're at that level, it would, for you to stay in shape and just be ready. Nothing for nothing, but I seen Ronda get pretty heavy too in the off season. I mean, she didn't even look like the same person. So I don't know if that, and I don't, because her mom is like really on her, you know, about stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anything over there, Jessica? I saw you looking at me.
Yeah, somebody just said, Giva, congratulations on the baby. They saw it on Instagram, but I don't know. Is that
Oh,
your
okay,
baby?
okay. You know, no, I happened at my gym. This is a joke because I've been in this place for like, it will be 2 years next month.
The place in Irvine.
Yeah, next month. It'll be 2 years in there.
Okay.
Since we're there, we have 18 babies.
Oh, jeez.
18 babies for my students, right? So those they are my babies kind of because I love them and
Yeah.
all, but it's not my real babe, not my kids. But there's so many babies that because they bring in. Can you take
Yeah.
a picture of? Yeah, sure, for sure. And then they're beautiful. I saw their wives. I saw the guys. They coming around. Their wives pregnant.
Yeah.
We follow up. It's like a family. My
Yeah.
gym is exactly like a family. And then they asked to take a picture. This one is the last one that I took a picture. It was my black belt Evan.
Okay.
Well, that's his kid, and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring my kids." Like, okay, so we take a picture, and then they're like, "Congratulations!" Like, and my wife, she's always with me. We train together.
Yeah.
We compete together. You guys didn't see my wife with the belly. What do you think
Yeah.
they come
Does
from?
she now? Does your wife compete?
She does.
So real quick before we get
Yeah.
in, we get into
Yeah.
to what we're going to get into next. That I have a lot on all my, like when I had the Wednesday show and all that. That's been the ongoing thing. Some of the fighters I have on say, man, it's good that I have a wife that competes or she's an MMA fighter or whatever because she knows what I'm going through. She sees when I'm trying to
Exactly.
cut weight
Yeah.
and she helps me. She makes sure, you know, the diet is this way
Yeah.
and, you know, if I got to do this and I got to be at the gym till midnight or whatever, they understand. But then other fighters are like, I want somebody that's, because I want to, when I'm out of the gym, I want somebody that has nothing to do with it and it gives me like something separate or separates my life or whatever. So you having a wife who competes and understands, is it more helpful to you or do you sometimes just want to get away from it? Which I don't think it would because that's pretty much your life.
I think it's my life is jiu-jitsu.
Right.
People know me, and then if I have somebody that was out, I had another relationship before. I was married before, and then didn't work out because of that.
Yeah.
People don't understand much. People don't understand like weekends inside of gymnasium, like coaching people,
Right.
traveling seminars and stuff like that. And with hers, everything my wife, she's like, we train together, we compete together. She's a nurse. She's working right now. She's working at UCI. But when we get in the diet,
Oh, well, that's helpful too.
Yeah.
You get some injuries, she knows what to
yeah.
do.
So we diet together, like,
Yeah.
hey, we're on a diet because we got competition coming. Sometimes she goes on the division below, she has to cut weight, and I support her. She support me. We understand the mood, you know, like
Oh,
when you're in
yeah,
the mood, like,
yeah.
hey, I'm, you know, so
Yeah, she's
it's
going through something right now.
it's a good thing to have somebody to understand what you're doing,
Yeah.
and why you're doing, because some people don't. If you're not on a sport, either MMA or jiu-jitsu, like people don't understand the struggle. Like, oh, I gotta cut weight. Why you sacrifice that much for? Why you cannot go out and drink? Why you have
Yeah.
to eat this since you can eat that? So some people don't understand that.
Yeah.
When you have somebody that's on the same boat that you are, and then that's easy. For me, it's easy. I like that way better.
Yeah.
I don't know about.
Yeah,
You know?
I would say 80% to 90% of them say the same thing. Hey, man, they know what I'm going through. It's good to have somebody who knows that. But there's a few that say, hey, I want to separate that from my life. My wife hates boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, hates it all or whatever. We've been married for 26 years.
Yeah.
So but then it's just like my daughter. She never was interested and then just one day they just get bit by the bug.
Yeah.
And they want to know more about it
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it just depends on the person. But
We got
anyway.
the photo up, Bobby. Can you see it?
Which one? Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
you see?
that one. That's Rose. That's Rose. My student Craig and Laura. That's their baby, and she's beautiful though. She collect my heart right out of the bat.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
she's
cool, man. That's
beautiful.
good that it's a
Yeah.
family atmosphere. You know what I mean? People know, and it's not just you're
I'm
my
not
student.
kidding. I tell people like, don't drink water for that fountain. If you don't want to have a baby, don't drink water.
Oh no.
Yeah, because it's crazy. Yeah, 18 babies, man.
So real quick for the people listening to us, you're here. You're at Full Contact Fun Addicts, brought to you by On The Mat. Don't forget you can go to onthemat.com. Check out all the latest videos, all the information we got up there, as well as myluckygi.com. Make sure you check that out. They're clearing out some gis. If you want to get one, make sure you get that. Also, don't forget you can check us out on free admission. You can check us out on YouTube, and we're here every Monday from 8 to usually we try to get out of here at 9, but we
Hit a
sometimes
follow on
get out of here.
Instagram.
Yeah, 9:15.
You know, like it on Facebook, whatever.
Yep.
Hit the
Absolutely.
subscription on YouTube.
So
Mine
so
yards.
make sure you check it out. We're here. Got Miguel. hanging with us. We got Dondo over there. He's on mic. He's going to be jumping in every now and again. Of course, Jessica's over there in the producer spot today, taking awesome questions and stuff like that. Got Robert bringing us in and out. And, of course, our guest today, Giva Santana. Don't forget, you got to check it out at One Jiu-Jitsu. It's BJJFitness.com, right?
OneJujitsuFitness.com.
Yeah. It's at 17895 Sky Park Circle, Unit A. It's in Irvine, California. If you want to go down, check it out. Just call 714-222-9854. Go down there, check it out now.
Or email us and then get 3 trial classes and for free. And then
3 days?
3 days.
Oh, that's awesome.
Send us an email. And then.
Now, we've seen this at Delos. You got these people that come in, a big bodybuilder or whatever, and I can do this, man, and I want to be a jiu-jitsu fighter and all that, and he'll put them with, let's say, a blue belt or something like that, and they just wrap them up real quick, bang, and tap them, and then they go, I wasn't ready, let's do it again.
Yeah.
And do you get that at all at your place, or are you already so well known that they know you're going to come in and you got to know what you're doing?
Before, back in the day, that was a normal thing to do, go challenge at the gym, like all those big guys, they think. Nowadays, I think it changed a little bit. People know a lot about jiu-jitsu thanks to MMA and everything that they see that people submit each other, and the big guys submit little guys submit big guys. That they change a little bit. But here and there, you got some people like that.
Every once in a while.
But I have a few students that they pretty skilled, so they're little.
Yeah.
And then they come in, I tell like, hey, what you don't warm up with that guy first, and handle with the big guys. Hang with those guys, and then they come sad and like. Man, the little guys took care of me. So but because of I wanna. The reason I do this is not to embarrass nobody. It's just so they can understand right out of the bat that it's all about technique and skills.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how big you are, because all my big guys too, I force them to be technical. Because one of the things that people know read my speech at the end of the class, like I don't care how big you are, how strong you are. You will find someone bigger and stronger than you, but more technical than you. It's up to you.
Right, right. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
Not even sometimes. That's why I say too. What you put in, what you get out. But sometimes you don't get it. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. But okay, this is what happened to me because I wrestled for years. But when I first went to Delos, he put me up against a girl who had the gi, and she choked me out twice. And I was embarrassed, I was like, dude. And he's like, no, I had to show you, just like you said, it don't matter how big you are and where you come from. If you got good technique, that's what's going to happen. But I always trained no gi. And I competed Grappler's Quest, stuff like that. But then when I put the gi on, man, I get choked out. Right? I get choked out by an 8-year-old kid from the kids' class. And Delos says, the day you get that out of your head and just learn what I'm showing you, you're going to see. Stop trying to use your weight and stuff. Then you're going to get it. To this day, I still haven't been able to get that out of. As soon as I put the gi on, first thing that goes in my head, man, they got so much to grab, and it just has always been there with me.
But I have a wrestler. I have great wrestlers with me too. Someone they change your head. Someone they still in the process. I have some caliber wrestling there. I have one of the guys that almost make Olympic. So I have some good guys in there. And it's like, it's cheating. They grab my gears. Like, it's not cheating because you can grab their gears as well. You can grab their gears even to apply the same technique on them, or even stop the technique that they're applying on you. So when you get that out of your mind, because what I think people have to understand is like, if you put it as a sport, it's a totally different sport, right? And then I always I go back and forth with this discussion, and I love both. I love gi and no gi, and then I love both. And then sometimes people come to the gym and then we roll like, can we go no gi? And it's like, man, that's worse. Put the gi back on.
Yeah.
Because I do both things like the same way, and then I do a no gi what I'm supposed to do a no gi, and I do on a gi what I'm supposed to do on gi. Now, if you ask my kid, you want to go wrestle with me? It will be tough for me to put the singlet on, but if I have to, I will.
Right.
I'm just kidding. But if I have to put singlet and then the wrestling shoes, everything, I will go with the mind open to learn wrestling the proper way.
Right.
It's a wrestle, it's not jiu-jitsu. So I'm not going to go thinking they're like, oh, you shoot on me like that, I'm going to guillotine you. No, because guillotine is not allowed in wrestling.
Or I'm going to grab your singlet.
Yeah, it's not allowed.
Right.
So I'm going to go with my mind open to learn, to take the best as I can from wrestling,
Right.
And it's the same thing I tell when you come to jiu-jitsu, come with your mind open to learn jiu-jitsu. And then later on, I will plan together. like if you put it like an MMA, right? Guys need to learn boxing, wrestling,
Right.
and ground.
Right.
And then if you go to a jiu-jitsu tournament, either gi or no gi, you know how to take people down, you know how to play top, how to control them. But if you allow yourself to go to the gym and play guard, you can always play bottom.
Yeah.
If you get a wrestler better than you can pull guard and submit them from there.
Right.
Because you know what he's going to do to take you down. So you can stop the takedown, get guarded. So learn the martial arts the proper way, the way they should be. You know?
Right.
That's the way it's not limitation. No, I just want to get this part here.
Right.
You know, and then I don't think we'll play out good.
That's almost exactly what Delo said. The day you get that and just listen to what I'm telling you and
Empty
showing
your
you,
cup.
you'll see what I'm talking about. Because you try to use your weight too much, which is what you're doing in wrestling. Get that top position.
We can play against you.
Yeah, exactly. Jessica, you got anything over there?
Earlier, Miguel said that to follow us on Instagram. Do you know exactly what that Instagram is? Can you say what it is?
It's Full Contact Fun Addicts by OTM.
And there's no underscore or anything?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. And
Good.
Giva, yours is at GIVOSS?
Givos, yeah.
Awesome.
Thank
So
you.
make sure you
Follow us.
follow that.
Yeah, we have
do
a
you
lot
have
of
for your
content
school
in there. One jiu-jitsu.
One Jiu-Jitsu.
One jiu-jitsu.
One Jiu-Jitsu
One
for
Jiu-Jitsu.
Instagram?
Yeah.
Bam, there it is. Now, we talking about jiu-jitsu, gi, no gi. I got to be honest with you. I got to get somebody from 10th Planet in here to get their side, because I've never really had anybody from that side on here. We go back and forth because Eddie, he's come with such a different type of jiu-jitsu. It's all no gi. He got the EBI. It's getting people from all over the world, to compete. They're making money. I mean, the 20 grand, I think, if you win the tournament,
Yeah.
or whatever, invitational. So many people say, man, it's such a good thing. It's really getting jiu-jitsu out there. But then I get so many people who say, but that's not jiu-jitsu in its purity. Jiu-jitsu, even if it's gi or no gi, it's, both guys standing up, you're trying to get the takedown, you're trying to pass the guard, even if you're going for points, whatever, gi or no gi. So there's two sides of the fence. Now, does it matter to you, or you just old school, this is the way, because especially coming from
niche.
Brazil.
I think it's a different niche that he got from the game.
Uh-huh.
He exploiting like something that it's working fine. I think it's jiu-jitsu too. I have nothing against it. I think it's like people can play both.
Yeah.
But I go to tournaments, and then my student doesn't have that many problem with that. Like it's just, you can say it's like a different style, because if you get like, I studied the game completely, even the foot locks, the heel hooks, and everything. It's not something that's I have a pleasure on it. Like I love this.
Yeah.
Like, so with some people, like I only go for foot locks and stuff like that. I play the game the way I think it presents. Like if the foot's on front of me, if it's on an angle that I can foot lock, heel hook, heel knee bar, I'll go for it. But I'm not gonna be hunting your foot if your arm's dry on my if your arm's dry on my face, or if your neck's dry on my face. So I play the game like completely, and I teach my students to do that way. You know?
Right.
It's a different approach, because like if you think about, like, let's get I don't know if you're familiar. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the Meow's brother. Those guys that invented bearing ball and everything. If you look at back in the day, not back in the day, but a couple years ago, it was working fine. Everybody's like, oh, what's the bearing ball thing? And everybody was taking the back. As soon as you initiate the bearing ball,
Right.
soon you see people on somebody's back. But nowadays you don't see that often anymore. People learn how to counter, how to move. Now, if you keep turning your back for the kind of game the 10th Planet plays, if you don't pay attention on it, if you don't look at it, if you're not that playing it, right? Even though if you don't like for your own sake,
Right.
you're not gonna learn about it, and they're always gonna have an edge. But if you play the game to learn about it and learn how to avoid or how to counter, how to play safe, if you like, that means if you're on jiu-jitsu, that's part of jiu-jitsu as
Right.
well. It is part of
You
jiu-jitsu.
got to open yourself up
Yeah,
to
of
learn
course.
that
You
part
gotta
too.
learn everything
Yeah.
about jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Foot locks is part of jiu-jitsu. Heel hooks, everything.
Yeah.
If you're a professional, if you go to a cage and you're planning on using jiu-jitsu, be ready to see some foot locks, some heel hooks, and everything. So I see
Makes
that way.
sense.
The only thing that that I think is too specific on that thing, because I don't see it happening on a high level too much against, like, for example, you get another black belt that's world champion jiu-jitsu,
Right.
like Jiu-Jitsu IBJJF or Jiu-Jitsu, the big organization, Jiu-Jitsu that make world champions.
Right.
I don't see some of those guys falling too much into those heel hooks or into those kind of situations when they go to the kind of tournaments. I don't see that because, like I said, we study the game. I'm not gonna pass with my foot in front of your face.
Yeah, because they're gonna grab
I'm
it.
not pass with my hands. My foot's gonna be right behind me here. I'm not gonna give you my foot. So it's just about to learn the game and how to play the game. I think it's. I don't have no problem.
So
with
that can even raise your game.
Yeah.
Because you figure, well, these dudes are looking for heel hooks and stuff like that. Like he said, I'm gonna pass this way or whatever. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I fought on MMA fight on no-gi tournaments before against Eddie Bravo guys. You know, and then the close guard, the rubber guard, it never works on me. So you know where you place your hands. Don't put your hand on the floor. Don't do stuff that you know you're gonna get yourself in a rubber guard. So there's the stuff that you learn. But if I close my eye to, I don't pay attention on it. If I don't look at, I might make a mistake that I shouldn't make.
Next thing you know,
So you gotta be studying the game the whole time. That's what I do. Nowadays, I compete. I still compete a little, like in masters and on tournaments like that. But I still have to be updated. So what else I'm going to teach to my students? Keep the old school. No, don't get me wrong. I love the old school. I love the jiu-jitsu. I love the fundamentals. I love the tradition. I love everything about jiu-jitsu. Every single thing about jiu-jitsu I love. But I got to keep my eye on the future. What's coming up, right? I cannot get obsolete or out of date. You know, I got to keep updating the game.
Always learning.
Yeah, always learning. Every day.
You know, it makes sense, but like when the first few Metamorphoses were out, Rafael Lovato Jr., he was winning with, I don't want to say basic techniques, but, you know, he would get the mount, boom, Kimura, and take him right over. A lot of guys are winning with armbar. Hogan Gracie, or he was winning with armbar or whatever. So no matter how much you study or learn or whatever, it seems like the basics is what gets you to the promised land. You know what I mean? So let me tell you something. When they had the first Jiu-Jitsu Expo over in Long Beach, when we were working for On the Mat, we went and covered it, and that was the first time I had saw Rafael Lovato Jr. He came, did the show, and he did a quick seminar, and then he competed, and he was supposed to go up against maybe Clark Gracie, I can't remember who it was, who backed out, and he went against Leo, what was it? I can't remember his name, but anyways, just to see that match and see the way they were going back and forth or whatever, that's what really opened my eyes to jiu-jitsu with the gi. I was watching and I was thinking, man, you know, the way he would go and pass the guard and the way he worked and stuff like that, that's what really made a believer out of me, you know. And it was funny because we had Henzo on the show, and he said the same thing. He goes, well, you got to go over there and go watch, man. You got to go check it out. You'll see it in its purity or whatever there. So that really opened my eyes back in the first expo. So
to add one more thing into this, right? Like I said, I like to study the game. I like to prepare my students for any opportunity. I have like a high level competitors, you know, they might get invited to EBI, which is one of them already got invited already, made all the way to semi, lost for Gio Martinez, which was like a young purple belt, but even though did well all the way to semis. Richard Alarcon has been doing really well. So in the same way that I keep my students ready to fight the big tournaments like IBJJF, ADCC, EBI, other tournaments, because this is the market on a business, right? Like, it's not an MMA, but it's a jiu-jitsu, and then my student can have opportunity to make money or to get projection on any shows like IBJJF World Championship, ADCC, EBI, all these tournaments that they have out there, and I got them ready for that, you know. But then, if I look back, there's people that only specialize on EBI, right? They only go for EBI, and then because they are so specialized on that, they don't have a chance to compete on the other ones. Some of them do, or some of them just don't want to do it. So
exactly. It makes sense. I definitely got to get somebody from there over here because they get so much a bad rap. But when you break it down like that, like Giva did, that's going to happen. But if you open yourself up and say, well, let me learn this, because if I do go up against somebody like that, like say a Grappler's Quest or something, I'm going to be ready. Makes sense. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Jessica, you got something over there?
Yeah, I want to you guys can do a couple shout outs because we have some fans in the chat room. Jessica Perez, Vincent, and there's one, Sean.
Jessica Perez, Vincent, and Sean?
And I don't want to be a mic talk to. If you guys want to talk to Dondo, I'll pass it to him. Just let me.
Oh no, absolutely. We're gonna go back and forth, especially when in a few minutes when we get to his talking about going to Nam Fams and stuff like that. But anyways, hey, I appreciate you guys checking out the show. When you have somebody like Giva Santana on, that's when you want to make sure and watch, because it makes sense. I mean, I got to tell you, training jiu-jitsu, and I think that's why I like it so much, because it's such a challenge. You know what I mean? You could, just like he said, I mean, you talk to somebody like this who's, done almost everything possible. MMA, oh my God. Sorry, I have too much cigarettes. We'll talk about that in a second, but MMA, jiu-jitsu, stuff like that, to say, hey man, I'm always learning. I got to keep learning or whatever. It says a lot for the sport itself,
for
right?
the sport, to teach people.
Sorry.
To be ready for
exactly.
it. Exactly.
You stay off the cigarettes.
I'm telling you, man.
Oh, there's another one.
But we're talking about that. Before, and I brought this up before, I was competing in Grappler's Quest. This was way back. I think this was maybe 2007, maybe earlier, 2005 maybe. And Hermes Franca had the super fight.
Yeah.
And I walk outside, and he's smoking a cigarette. He's in his gi, got his black belt on, and he's smoking a cigarette. And just to see, I'm like, dude, hey,
crazy.
It really, but now that doesn't happen anymore. Jiu-jitsu tournaments, people have strength and conditioning coaches. They're getting ready, and they really, now it's evolved into a sport where if you're not in shape and you're not ready, you're going to lose.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like when I started jiu-jitsu, I was a military, I was in the army. When I started jiu-jitsu, it was just to learn something new and get in shape through jiu-jitsu. Oh, stay in shape, because I was in the army, I was in shape anyways. But nowadays, to do jiu-jitsu, you got to do a conditioning. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
If you don't do conditioning on the side, I mean, not just learn jiu-jitsu for fun, because at my gym, a class is something that's interesting to talk about. A lot of people make jiu-jitsu really specific because the urge to win tournaments.
Right.
They initiate a class already drilling, already getting to positions, already everything's about jiu-jitsu. And I like that for some classes that I have competitors, and I have a class that is just for that, right? I had one today before I come here. But then I have my class 6:30 a.m.
6:30.
6:30 a.m. I teach most of them. And I have fathers that cannot make at night because they have the kids they have to take to school, and kids and pick the kids up at night.
But that shows a lot of determination.
Yeah, but those guys is not the guys that are going to go compete, and they need to get in shape. So for those guys, we do some conditioning in the morning. We start the class with a regular warm-up. We do push-ups. We do whatever you have to do just to get them in a decent shape to be training jiu-jitsu. Some people are like, oh, we don't do that anymore. That's old school. Some classes I don't, because the people that are there, it's in shape already, good to go, ready to get it on jiu-jitsu. But some people needs that condition, it's something that we have on our gym, and it's pretty cool. It works well.
Yeah, it makes sense. When he said 6:30, I thought, hey, who's getting up at 6:30? But it's true.
My class at 6:30 a.m., 25 people.
Oh,
okay, if you have no time to train, I'm in Irvine. If you have no time to train at night, come down
there's no excuse. There's a class at 6:30, so if you're determined or whatever, hey, you go there, the class is there for you. So that does show a lot of determination.
Most of them are fathers.
Yeah.
Some kids show up too, but
it's
really good class.
Now, I'll pose this question to you too, because when we had Chad George and everybody in here, because a lot of guys that were competing in MMA, retired from that, and still competing in jiu-jitsu or whatever, but not as much as before. Do you get now, I know you get a lot of pleasure out of winning, let's say, when you're doing MMA and stuff like that, big wins. But now that all that's, behind you now, and you're strictly training jiu-jitsu and teaching jiu-jitsu, do you get more out of seeing somebody that you've taught, let's say from scratch, white belt, all the way up to brown or black belt, go in there and, just like you said, show the techniques and stuff like that, and win? You get more out of that from when you were competing?
For sure, definitely, because for me, I accomplished a lot of things that I had planned, I had goals to accomplish, and I did. I'll give you an example, my wife. She came, she was, back in the day, she used to be a gymnast. And then I told her like out of the bed, I was like, hey, if you train serious, because the flexibility and she's really strong.
Right.
I was like, if you train serious, you can be a world champ. And she looked at me and laughed. we weren't boyfriend or anything. We're not dating anything. She was just a student. And I told her like, hey, if you train serious, you can be a world champ. And then I think on the second year or third year, she was world champ. I was like, what have I told you in the first year? If you take serious, and then since then she taking serious, and she always doing good, performing well, winning tournaments and everything. The thing is like right now for me, like I said, we go back a little bit. Why I keep learning to make my students go over there and perform well.
Right.
So they have the pleasure. You know, I tell them in class like, it's not about me. I did what I have to do. You know, I'm happy with who I am, with the name that I built to myself. But I'm pretty sure you can be somebody. You know, if you work hard, if you dedicate, and then I'm here just to give you tools.
Right.
You know,
and just to see them do well, it's like, man, just to see where they've came from and, you know, the start. Now look at them.
I have a bunch of new guys now, a bunch of white belts. They're like hungry, and then it's a fundamentals class because my white belt's a fundamentals class. Yeah. And some days I sit in there, I was like, they're supposed to be that intense because fundamentals you learn. But it's so intense, the level, because they're so hungry. And I was like, it's supposed to be that way. There's people that take it easy, take their time. But I have a bunch of guys in there that are like, they just good to go, and then they're going to make noise.
Is that how it was when you were rolling with Hickson back in '85? Back on the beach in Brazil?
That's right.
Yeah, you had that aggression. That's what he saw in you, Jessica?
Bobby, this shout out was for you. James Jones says he hopes to be in studio soon, that NCAA is starting.
Oh, yeah, soon. Well, he's in Florida, so I don't know. Hopefully he survived the hurricane and stuff, and he can come down. But, yeah, we'll definitely start breaking that down. Maybe we'll get Kenny Johnson in here because that's that Iowa Hawkeyes. And I think James Jones is Virginia Tech, if I'm not mistaken, or whatever. But, yeah, we'll start breaking that down soon, man. You're my man. Definitely get you. If not, we'll get you on the Skype or something like that so we can start breaking that down. So, real quick for the people listeners, you're here. You're at Full Contact Fun Addicts, brought to you by On The Mat, talking to Giva, Santana, talking some jiu-jitsu, stuff like that, which makes a lot of sense. See, that's why we got guys like this in here, you know, because I'm always thinking, well, you know, honestly, I hate 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu and not because I'm fat and there's no way I could do those rubber guards and stuff. Ain't no way I'm able to do that. So I think I'm just speaking strictly from jealousy or whatever. But, you know, to see it, especially since when Maestro and I were first doing the show, it was all strictly mostly MMA. We're working for Tap Out. Then when we moved to Sinister, Ed Sorda said, you know, you guys got to open yourself up, you know, a little more because there's so much more besides MMA. But when we went to On The Mat and Scotty Nelson, he said, you know what, you guys gotta go check this out. He gave us a bunch of DVDs to show us, you know, the jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. Then we rolled with them, which was a big mistake for me because I was so sore the next day. That guy put it on me. But ever since then, when he said, yeah, you gotta, you know, go check this out. Go to the expo, cover that, you know, cover this and check that out. It was so, I mean, it just opened it up so much, you know, to the jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And it just, ever since then, it's been like totally awesome. We've been to different gyms. We've been checking out different techniques. You know, Scotty's always saying, hey, man, go check this guy out. Go check out Henry Akins. Go check out, you know, Rafael's going to be over here and, you know, things like that. And it really, really, you know, opened my eyes. And then when you say stuff like that, well, you got to learn, you know, you can't just learn this. You got to learn this. You got to really be well-rounded or whatever. So it gives everybody inspiration to, you know, to take it to the next level. So real quick, running up against the clock. So don't forget, if you want to check it out, it's... Give that way. It's one
jiu-jitsu.
One jiu-jitsu.
And fitness.
So it's a 17895 Sky Park Circle, Unit A. It's in Irvine, California. I saw that picture on your Facebook. You had a class. It looked like it was about maybe 60 people that day.
It was last Thursday. Last week I took some decisions, like letting go some people, and every time I have to take big decisions, you know, I feel sad a little bit, but it's like, sometimes you gotta question yourself, question the Lord, like, am I doing the right thing? And when I questioned at night time, I had about 47, 50 people in one class. And I was like, that answered my question. I'm doing the right thing.
It's working, so definitely gonna have to do that.
I treat people nice. My gym is really a family atmosphere. Everybody's welcome. You know, I have all kinds of people in there. I have janitors, I have lawyers, I have nurses, I have doctors. I have everybody in my gym, and everybody feel welcome in there. That's the most thing that people say. My gym has a different approach. Most of the time, like you get into the gym, you're intimidated with everything, right? It's not me that's gonna take care of you. I do.
Yeah.
I do. Your first class is gonna be with me. I'm gonna get you aside, teach you everything you need to learn on the very first class in the beginning. But when you have to partner up with somebody, somebody's there to help you. You know, that's my speech at my gym.
Right.
But I can open up for people. It's like, you guys are here every day. That's what I tell my students, right? What makes you come here every day? Because you love this. You love to be here. You love the friends that you make. And then you love jiu-jitsu, right? If it's somebody coming here, they already do jiu-jitsu, show to them what jiu-jitsu is about. If somebody that comes here and never trained jiu-jitsu before, you gotta show to them what jiu-jitsu is about and make them fall in love the same way you did. Right? Just be nice, polite, treat people nice, and then let them have fun with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. One last question before you go. This, I personally, I don't like when you know, the fighters and they have the weigh-ins and they get in each other's face and pushing and all. For some reason, I don't like that. I like it as a sport, you know, where you have respect and, hey, man, he's a fighter just like me, you know, and you shake hands. Okay, we weighed in. Let's fight.
Let's get it on tomorrow.
Yeah. Are you the same way, or do you like a little intimidation or whatever?
No, I don't. I always respect. I don't care if people get on my face. And I know when I have to handle business. I really do. And people are like, man, that guy's huge. It's like the only thing that counts is that the day before they weigh the same weight that I weigh. Next day it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
You know, I know when I have to handle business, so I don't get like nervous like or lose my cool because somebody get on my face. So like I know when I have to deal with you.
Yeah, we'll see you
tomorrow. It will be tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, and you're gonna pay for that.
Yeah,
you're gonna pay for that. Gonna get some extra pop on the elbow.
Yeah, it makes sense. Next thing they'll know, they're looking for their arm or whatever.
Extra pop on the elbow.
Yeah.
Because it was disrespectful. But I don't lose my cool with that. But you got to understand that some people do that because it's one of the ways to sell nowadays, right? Like how they say, see that guy yesterday?
Yeah, he's going to kill him.
Tomorrow they're going to get it on. And then sometimes not even. But
how does jiu-jitsu guy right now? Roger Gracie, Andres Galvao, who's the hottest right now?
The hottest right now? There's a bunch of that.
Buchecha?
Well, there was a good match. There was a Buchecha and Roger Gracie.
Yeah.
Which he was the greatest of the all time.
I didn't see it, but I heard a lot about it.
Roger came up strong, finished Buchecha, tap him out, and there was a good one. This coming weekend, they're going to have ADCC, which is the big names are there.
Right.
Buchecha there, Leandro Lo, it's a big one, Dragalvan, Romulo Barral. All the big names are there. So it's always like somebody coming up, somebody go down a little bit, but the biggest name right now is Buchecha and Roger Gracie. But Roger just retired, you know, he won the fight and retired. And then Buchecha won the last tournament, IBJJF, that they made the tournament for the big names, Leandro Lo, Buchecha, and some Xande Ribeiro, all the big names, and then Buchecha won.
Yeah.
So Buchecha is the #1 right now. Leandro comes right after. They're good friends, so they keep facing each other, but in a friendly way. It's huge. It's
huge. It's huge. I mean, and it's just growing. So we appreciate it. Anything before we go, Robert?
Just John's segment, but then other than that, I did have a couple questions.
Go for it.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about Donahue's Death Squad?
I feel like they're good. They're good what they do, but they're good on that thing, right? On that particular thing, that EBI kind of style, no-gi style. You know, if it's a dead squad that it's good for that purpose, they're really good. But I would like to see like they challenge themselves like on the big tournament as well. Like if you're a part of jiu-jitsu community, if you consider yourself part of jiu-jitsu community, you should be able to perform in the whole entire jiu-jitsu community, gi, no gi, or whatever it is. That's my opinion, personal opinion.
Point system and submission only, right?
Yeah. I would say like that squad on that specific no gi style with heel hooks, everything is allowed. They definitely like know what they're doing. They're good.
That it?
For me, yeah. I always wanted to get a perspective on how you know
Absolutely. And Dando, any last questions for Giva before we let him get out of here?
Oh, Giva, I've been watching this episode over and over, man. I learned a lot from you. I appreciate the insight that you gave us. However, as we segue into this next portion, Favi Chulo is the man. He brings you in. We want to get out and see what you do in your home, in your gym, in your dojo.
Yes, definitely.
That's what we want to do.
You guys are more than welcome.
Yeah,
you guys
definitely gonna bring Dando and Miguel down and definitely show that technique work because so many people have been getting caught in that head and arm triangle.
Just a pendulum.
We can talk about that, the pendulum, defend there, or anything you guys want to see about MMA or specific jiu-jitsu. Watch a class, be part of the class.
Perfect.
See the atmosphere and everything.
Very cool.
Definitely gonna go
We
down
appreciate
and
that
check
invitation.
that out. Real quick before we get to the footage, we're going to let Giva go because it's already 9:05 or whatever. So, Jessica, if you can unmic him and just show. Let me tell you something. A million thank yous for coming down. To get somebody like Giva Santana to come and break everything down like that for us, we really appreciate it. Don't forget.
Shout out to my.
Go for it.
Oh, all your
sponsor.
shout outs, please.
Yeah, or just follow us if you want. Our gym is doing really well, and then our Instagram page and Facebook, we always upload videos in there that I give for free. All the videos, the technique that we're working on, we give for free. So if you guys can follow us, give us a like, I would appreciate that.
That's on your Facebook?
Yeah, that's my Facebook right there, One Jiu-Jitsu. My sponsor, Albino and Preto, Sherall. Thank you very much to you guys for the support. And then thank you guys for having us here.
Absolutely.
And then anytime you guys need it, any questions about Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, I love the sport.
Absolutely.
I love everything about Jiu-Jitsu.
So for the people watching, we're definitely going to take a trip down over there. We'll make a whole day of it. We'll train, we'll go eat, we'll go make the whole thing over there. Definitely want to see some of the techniques, see your wife, maybe she can, show us some of her stuff and stuff like that, just to show that it is a full-blown family affair. So make sure you check them out. Again, a million thank yous for coming on. We're going to move into something else. So, Donald, if you go ahead and unmic Giva, we'll move on to the next segment. Again, Giva Santana, make sure you check him out. Definitely get into that. So, and we'll definitely send you a link so that you can put it up on your Facebook.
I appreciate it.
A million thank yous.
All right.
Thank you, Giva.
Thank you.
You know where you're going, Giva? You okay?
In the hot seat. Keep it rolling.
I'll send it to you for sure.
Send the link.
For sure, absolutely. A million thank yous, man. Appreciate it.
Sometimes doesn't work well.
And it was perfect.
Better
Definitely
than
see you
mine.
Very
soon.
good. Very
Take
good.
care.
Hey, man, when you got somebody like Giva Santana coming in here, it's definitely behoove you to go check it out, check out the classes and stuff like that. So a million thank yous for him coming on. But we're going to switch gears. We talked a lot about Nam Fam and all that before we went on the air, and it's just kind of like a, I don't want to say sneak preview, but a little bit showing kind of like what we're going to start getting into as far as like going down and checking out some of these academies showing you. So if you want to go down and check it out, you have a little sneak preview of what's to come. So Robert, go ahead and hit it, and we'll go from there.
So there it is, Nam Fan Academy. First episode, Gym Crashers here at Nam Fan Academy, Garden Grove, California. About to step into Nam's Academy. He's teaching jiu-jitsu. They got boxing. They've got MMA coming through the front doors now. Go ahead and follow me in. Nam's a very decorated fighter, as you can see. Got pictures of all kinds of famous UFC boxing fighters all over the wall. Nam's matches himself against Miller, against Garcia. We got high school medals. He's a decorated wrestler. I know he has been a practitioner of judo, expanding his game right now. Actually took a boxing fight on the Canelo versus Triple G card at Las Vegas on Friday. Got as we
what belt was that was up there?
You know what? Trying to think about that. That was one from his younger days. Wasn't Pancrase. It was. I'll have to get back to you on that one. Was Pancrase? Okay.
Pancrase?
It was.
Wow.
King of Pancrase. That's right. So, there we go.
So what's the vibe like when you go in there? It seems like it's more a little bit more hardcore.
You know what? It's the real deal, and it is everything you want. As you walk in, he's got a boxing program. He's got the MMA program. He takes care of the jiu-jitsu. We caught him at a very, very special time when
ready for a fight.
Vegas called him on a Tuesday.
Yep,
Fight was
boy.
on a Saturday.
Right.
He was going to fight on the Canelo,
Triple G
card.
Now, maybe when we get to this next segment, you can kind of tell us what's going on because I'm not fluent in mumbles or whatever.
Yeah.
If you could let us know what he was saying right
Well,
there.
you know, he's got 3 layers of clothes on. He's trying to drop
Yeah,
weight.
no doubt.
And then instead of
He's
saying,
sweating fudge juice.
he did not say to me, hey, let's do this at a later date. He said, come
Let's
on
do
in,
it.
let's do it. The man kept talking while he was actually throwing and getting himself ready for a fight. So hats off to Nam Fan. You know, this segment right here, again, we're just talking to him. You know, we're going to bring you the full show. He's doing a little warm-up. He's, again, dropping weight. He had to get to 150 by Friday. This was on a Tuesday. So
But he was
the man's
close, right? Like
pushing.
150.
Oh, he could have made it. Another day he would have had it. So I don't know exactly what the reasoning was, but the fight was
He had
cold.
mentioned he was at 153 the day of weigh-ins.
Yes.
When they supposedly called him to scratch the fight.
Yep. Unbelievably, you know, this is the story of a fighter. You get called on a short notice, and if you have that fighting attitude and that spirit to take the fight on a short call, on with barely any preparation, it's what you do. Nam lives it.
So does he talk about that? How they scratched him from the fight?
We haven't got that segment in. We're going to work it in, but we have everything built up to that point because it's all very new. We're looking at Saturday. Today's Monday. It's only been 2 days.
Yeah.
So we will work that segment in as well, but this is the build-up.
So now we're going to go to his jiu-jitsu class? Or?
Well, this is a boxing class. He has an Olympian from previous Olympics, boxing coach, Max Ramos, teaching class here. There's Max. Quick interview with him, so do tune in for that so you can catch that interview, find out a little bit about Max and what he offers. He's teaching some big guys, some smaller guys, got some ladies in there, so he mixes it up quite well. Everyone is welcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is, an opportunity to train with just about everybody.
And I believe at the beginning he was saying, I'm the proprietor, and I'm the owner, and I'm the
He
janitor,
is. He's
and
the
I
man.
do everything here.
He's the hardest working man in Garden Grove.
Yeah, no doubt.
There you go. That's right.
Is that what he's
Well spoken. So
So-
tune in. Gym Crashers coming to you.
Yep.
First episode, Nam Fam Academy, and we are looking to move to other dojos weekly. So give us a holla. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Set it up with our producer, Robert.
Yeah, definitely. And definitely want to go check out that one jiu-jitsu. I definitely want to see that technique
Absolutely.
because so many people are getting nailed with that head and arm choke or whatever. So it's cool. So it's good. But like I said before, I think I'm going to have to get somebody from 10th Planet on here to talk about it. Maybe Chai Sarasut. He does 10th Planet in Long Beach or whatever. Maybe we can get him over here and try to get both sides. It seems like I'm being a little bit biased, as far as the jiu-jitsu in its purity goes.
I think there's a nice theme from the interviews that we have had on this show. The attitude is, you know what? It's all jiu-jitsu. At the end of the day, improve your jiu-jitsu.
And he made a
work on your jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and he made a good point. If I'm going to go
Valid
against those
point.
guys, I'm not going to put that leg out there to get stuck. I'm going to pass this way and stuff like that. So that made perfect sense. Robert, you going to talk about when you were going hold to hold with Hoist back in
No, I was
87?
just saying. We sent an offer. We offered the Martinez, one of the Martinez brothers, to come out here.
Boogeyman?
Yeah.
Oh,
Richie,
wow.
Not Richie. Richie's brother.
Okay.
The other champ.
Well, like I said, I don't like it because I can't do it. I'm fat. There's no way I'm going to be doing mission control and stuff like that. So that's probably why I'm jealous or whatever. Because when you see Eddie do that stuff, I'm like, holy, because the way he moves and stuff like that. Well, like Giva was saying, his wife was a gymnast, and when he saw her, he said, you have such good flexibility, you could be a champion. So got to get both sides of the spectrum. But real quick, before we get out of here, don't forget Lucky Gi. Make sure you check out myluckygi.com. We're gonna get if I can get myself together, I'm gonna get a couple of those gis so that we can put them on. You can show show some techniques and stuff like that.
I want to get lucky.
Yeah,
Me too.
definitely. I had one and it was just a pleasure to get choked out in it.
like
I mean,
it.
it was really it lasted forever. I mean, it was like super durable. So make sure you want to check it out, myluckygi.com, as well as onthemat.com. Make sure you check that out. We got a lot of stuff in the works. We're talking a little bit before we went on the air. We got a whole bunch of stuff, and we're really gonna super bring it out and bring it to the forefront. But on that note, I'm gonna be gone for a couple of shows, but I have more than extreme confidence that Dando
We got
and
confidence
Miguel
in you,
can
brother.
handle it while I'm gone. So
Don't
that's
worry, your show will still be here when you come back.
But
That's
that's
right.
a good.
And it is your show, by the way.
Yes.
That's a good
We
chance.
are just
for-
your guests.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
right.
good chance for you guys
And
to
co-hosts.
to start showing some of your stuff of going to these gyms and stuff like that and checking it out and showing different techniques.
It's a great way to move into that next segment, that next expansion of what we do here.
Exactly.
yes.
And you're very
All
much a
under the
part of
same
that.
umbrella,
Well, absolutely. And we're talking about Celtic Gladiator.
We
We're going to
are.
start doing some
That's right.
partnership stuff with them.
They're a partner of the show. They're an affiliate. Celtic Gladiators coming up. Looks like in
October 17th.
It looks like actually November, 4th of November of 17.
I'm in the way over there.
4th
so-
of November.
Oh, there you
coming
go.
up.
November 17th.
Yep.
And I think somebody was it.
That one is in
yourself or
Poland.
Robert.
December 6th, they're going to be back in Los Angeles. I believe it's the Burbank Marriott. I just talked to the president today. He said they're coming back. I believe George at CXF is working with them too, so it's going to be pretty big. Of course, we got our really good friend.
Brought to you by Spar Stars
yeah,
MMA.
Tony
Tony
man, what a great
T-Bone
guy.
Steaks Padilla.
Yes. So
We'll get him in. We'll get him in on the show. He's a good guy.
Hey, tell Tony Padilla he's more than welcome to come in here.
I will
we'll
do that.
blast it. We'll promote the heck out of that.
We're going to do it anyways. He's
Yeah,
a
we'll-
good guy. He's a partner of the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
We love him.
Yeah, we'll
Yep.
definitely talk about it. Make sure we get that because
Interview their fighters. I think you said they also got an international card coming up too.
Oh
right?
yeah, the Celtic Gladiators doing London next. Then they're going to do Poland. October it's London.
Yes.
Poland.
November.
in
London, Poland, here we
December.
come.
Los Angeles in December.
well, tell them, hey,
Chicago, January.
We'll go freight or whatever, man. We'll
Yep.
go out there and go check that out, whatever.
We do.
Whatever it takes. But it's good. Definitely make sure you get them out here so the more people that know about that, we can get that place packed, and then it just keeps going. It's better
Commerce
for the fighters,
Casino, yep.
promoters. Definitely want to check that out at the Commerce Casino. So we'll keep everybody up to date on that.
Hey, it's on Telegram.
For sure, yeah, and we'll make sure
Miguel
that
can walk.
Robert shoots it out, or we can have Jessica shoot it out on all our social media so they can come and check it out. So, gonna be gone for a couple of shows. Dondo and Miguel gonna handle it. Definitely,
you.
definitely.
We got you,
have,
brother.
Down.
have more than confident that they'll be able to make sure you guys see all those techniques and everything out there. Don't forget every Monday, 8 to 9:30. We'll say 8 to 9:30 now because we've been going quite a bit along. Mike Joker Guyman, we're going to have him come in pretty soon because I want to talk to him about
Right
some,
on,
of,
right
the
on.
old tap out days.
That's right.
And
Joker brings it.
I can't remember. I have a few people that I've been talking to that want to come on the show because
love
now
it.
that they're starting to see, they say, "Oh, okay," and they want to start coming down. So we'll definitely get them in here. Robert,
I forgot. I contacted Ryan Smith at Sullen, so he probably, hopefully, if we can get a schedule, try to get Ryan Smith in here to talk about.
It's a great brand.
Get 'em in here.
Great group
And-
of folks there at
yeah,
that Sullen
right.
Collective. The artists, they're amazing.
definitely get them in here. So with all that being said, man, appreciate everybody checking out. Don't forget. Full Contact Fun Addicts brought to you by On The Mat. You can check us out free admission. And don't forget, every Monday, 8 to 9:30, we'll be here. See you guys, everybody, next week.
Check out the Instagram.
Absolutely.
Full Contact Fun Addicts. I'm sorry, I had given the wrong name earlier. No, my bad.
OTM,
My bad,
Full Contact
my bad, my
Fanatics.
bad.
And just go.
Full Contact Fun Addicts.
Yep.
We're
Brought
good.
to you by
Nobody else,
OTM.
no questions or anything like that before we get out of here. Hey, but for the people who did, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate you not calling in, but writing
it to
in
you.
and stuff like that. Let us know that you're watching. Definitely
Thank you
going to
to
be
Giva
checking you
Santana
out.
again.
Absolutely, man.
Thank
Hey,
you,
Anytime.
Giva.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, man. We start getting people like that. We,
Yeah.
really starts bringing everything to the
We're going to
forefront.
go out to Giva.
Absolutely. We'll
Hats
see
off to
everybody
him.
next Monday. Make sure
We're
you're
going
here.
to Geneva. That's right.
See ya. Geneva Convention. Booyah.
That was your best.